The story reads like a movie. A husband accused of poisoning his wife, an internet search on the home computer on ways to poison someone, and the wife ends up dead. Now, this story is real life, and the trial is going on right now in a courtroom in Wisconsin. True TV's Jean Casares joins us now live with the details in the case. Jean, hello, good afternoon to you.
Hi, Stacey. Good afternoon. You know, this is the second day of this trial, and we only are on witness number 2, but boy, have we had some witnesses. First, a medical examiner who now is testifying that he believes that Julie Jensen was actually suffocated, and that's important because a jailhouse snitch came out last summer saying that Mark Jensen said that's exactly what he did because she just wouldn't die. And then the second witness is Edward Klug, who was a co-worker of Mark Jensen in St. Louis, and he said that they had a convention together in November of '98. They had a few too many drinks after dinner that night, and that Mark Jensen started talking about, you know, you can kill your wife and nobody will know about it, and it's poisoning and Benadryl. That's the way you can do it.
Is that why his testimony is so important today?
It's very important. Now, the defense has got a big cross-examination with this man because this co-worker didn't come out until 8.5 years later. That's right. This man apparently, allegedly had this conversation with Mark Jensen, maybe told some people, but never went to police until last July of 2007. So the defense is going to say, you can't believe this man at all.
Yeah, so why did he wait until 8 years later, and how authoritative is his testimony?
Well, I think we're going to hear that in his continued direct examination, but what I believe he's going to testify to is that, first of all, Mark Jensen was his supervisor. And so he was scared to come out and talk about that conversation because he was the man that he directed to, that he worked for basically in that company. Secondly, he already testified today that when they started talking after all that liquor was in them, that they were focused on wife bashing, that they were both unhappy in their marriage. Now, this man is still married, but if he would go forward to law enforcement, he would talk about all the things that he said against his wife that night to Mark Jensen.
So we're hearing testimony, too, from the medical examiner, and now hearing that maybe Julie Jensen didn't die from antifreeze. So if that's true, what could she have died of?
Well, he's saying that it could be a contributory cause, but now, with everything that he was presented recently from the investigation, he thinks that she actually could have died, the actual cause, from suffocation. Now, here's why this is so important. A jailhouse snitch came forward this last summer of 2007. And remember, this is 8.5 years later. And he says, look, this is what Mark Jensen told me in jail. Mark said that I wanted to poison her, I was trying to poison her, and she just wouldn't die. So at the very end, the kids were about to come home from school. She was still alive, so I sat on her chest, and I put her face into the pillow, and I smothered her to death. That had never come up in anything or any witness statement, any investigation. And this ME that had the original autopsy report found the cause of death and manner to be undetermined. But he found that there was tissue injuries on the upper chest, and he found that her face had been sort of misaligned through a picture to the side. And now this ME is saying, you know, now with that I can put it all together, and I think she was suffocated.
Okay, so this story just keeps going. So how is the defense going to counter at this point?
You know, many ways. First of all, with his medical examiner, they have already tried to discredit him on the stand, that he doesn't know what he is talking about, that he's believing a jailhouse snitch to suddenly come to a brand new cause of death after all of these years. They're trying to discredit that. With Edward Klug, the co-worker, they have yet to cross-examine him, but they're going to say, you know what? You had a motive to lie because you wanted to be the position that Mark Jensen was. So maybe you fabricated this whole story to your co-workers once it came out that Julie Jensen had died of ethylene glycol poisoning, and it wasn't true at all. Furthermore, you waited 8.5 years to go to law enforcement?
So who can we expect next to testify? I'm sure there could be more twists and turns.
No, there sure are. The co-worker will continue his testimony. After that, the co-worker's wife, because there are phone records. He spoke with her through the night back in '98, telling his wife, allegedly, "You're not going to believe it. I'm talking to this guy downstairs in the bar, and he's telling me he wants to poison his wife." So she, Joanne Klug, is going to take the stand to corroborate her husband's testimony.
I guess after so many years now, it's really a case of he said, she said. So we'll continue to follow it. Jean Casares, thank you so much for spelling it all out for us at this point at least. Thank you.